Hello, and welcome to Psychology Demystified. Today's topic revolves around how people use distance to manage anxiety. A lot of people avoid others when they are stressed. And that's not surprising because distancing ourselves from others is sometimes the easiest and the quickest way for us to calm down. Some people create distance by moving away from their families. In relationships, some people, sometimes one more than the other, find themselves staying late at work to avoid their spouse or their partner. Some people find other things to do and alternate things to do separate from their partner. Some people find projects to do that they know their partner will not be interested in, just so that they can create some kind of distance. And some people also find that although they were initially energized by catching up on friends via video chats of any type when the COVID-19 started, they now find that they're starting to feel the need to just withdraw from other humans. Distancing can help to manage anxiety. However, sometimes it does come at a cost, because what happens is when someone distances themselves and chooses immediate calmness, what they then end up doing is that they sacrifice human to human, person to person relationships at the same time. Now, it's not all distancing that's a bad option. Sometimes distancing can help you get out of a sticky situation or not deal with something that is too much for you in the moment. What you have to watch for is when distancing starts to become a habit. Are you someone who uses distance to manage your anxiety? Do you see yourself in the 25 examples that I'm about to talk about? Do you find yourself using alcohol or drugs to avoid having sober or serious conversations? Are you thinking about, or have you already moved across the country or across the city to avoid being around your family? Do you find yourself becoming very busy at work or busying yourself with many different projects and social meetups that have nothing to do with your family just so you can avoid your spouse or your partner? Do you find yourself canceling on people at the last minute just so you can find some instant relief? When you meet up with people, do you find yourself only talking about the weather or sports or just what you're watching on Netflix just to keep the conversation on the surface? Do you find yourself avoiding listening to an important voicemail or avoiding reading an email that you know is important because you believe that it's going to cause you anxiety? Do you choose to only text someone when you actually probably should be calling them instead? Do you lie about your beliefs or your stand just so you can avoid a disagreement with someone? When you're in a situation where you're alone with your spouse or your partner, do you find that the only topic of conversation is your kids? Do you find yourself asking someone lots and lots of questions just so you can avoid talking about your own life? Instead of telling someone directly that you're not interested in them, do you find yourself ghosting them instead? Are you someone who only sees your family on duty visits or obligatory things like Christmas and holidays that you celebrate, or public holidays only? When someone asks you how you're doing, do you find yourself saying, "I'm fine, I'm good, I'm okay," when you really are not? When you come across a new coworker who seems quite intense and just raring to go and in your face, do you find yourself choosing not to introduce yourself so you don't have to deal? When you sense that there's anxiety in the room or people are anxious, do you find yourself being the person who changes the subject? Are you someone who tends to avoid being around or talking to people who are either sick or dying? Do you find yourself gravitating toward people who are very similar to you and not initiating conversations with people who maybe look different from you? Do you find a way to not talk about past family history that produces or causes anxiety? When you know that there's an important conversation to be had that is hard to also have, do you find yourself choosing not to engage in it? When you are at family gatherings, are you the one who turns on the TV or finds a different kind of distraction? Are you the type of person who likes to plan non-stop activities to keep everyone busy? Do you find yourself being that person who likes to double book so that you have an easy out or somewhere else to go when you're at a gathering? Do you automatically assume that people are not interested in hearing about what your passions are and what excites you? Do you find yourself minimizing your accomplishments, your successes, and your achievements just to make other people around you feel comfortable? If you have chosen to pursue therapy and to go embark on a therapy journey, kudos to you. But are you that person who likes to and tends to bring up difficult topics during the last 2 minutes of therapy? If you saw yourself in the examples that I just mentioned, the good news for you is that there are other ways for you to manage your anxiety and create a safe haven for yourself other than creating distance. The bad news for you is that the actions that I'm going to suggest that you could take to manage your anxiety are actually going to cause you some temporary discomfort. So what are these actions? Number 1, spending more time with your family as you learn to be yourself around them. Number 2, the action requires you to engage in conversations that you find uncomfortable. Another action requires you to put down your glass of wine and turn off the TV, which you usually tend to run to at a family gathering. The other action that is going to probably make you uncomfortable requires you to not jump to the default, I'm fine, I'm great, I'm okay, but to put down your phone, put down the distraction, put away the distraction, turn to someone and say, actually, I'm not that great. Let me tell you about the challenging things that have been going on in my life lately. And why am I asking you to do these things that put you in uncomfortable situations and to you probably cause you even more anxiety? The reason why is because change cannot happen if we always decide to choose distance. Change happens when you have and make and build relationships with other human beings. Change happens when we stop presenting a watered down version of ourselves. Change happens when you're willing to engage and sometimes to let your guard down, even just for one moment. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay safe. Remember to wear a mask when you go out. Please remember to be kind because it costs you nothing and you also don't know what someone is going through. And to you, hugs and kindness always. Bye.